And how is it going, everybody? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest next-gen gaming news. The news that I'm going to be talking about today is some amazing news about what Sony just said. They said something unbelievable. Prepare yourselves for this, because it's going to punch you right in the face. Sony said that water is wet. Sony said that the sky is above you. Sony said that if you punch yourself in the freaking face that it's going to hurt. Sony said something about the PS5 without saying anything about it at all. That's right, Sony's adopting the tactics of Pete Hines here. Now, the fact that they chose to respond to this question in this way is curious in itself, instead of just saying no comment or something like that. So I did some digging, and I got a conglomeration of evidence of just a few things that adds a little bit more weight to the fact that the next generation of consoles is coming very, very soon, within the next year or two. Now, before we get into this, as I'm sure you know, Fallout 76 is coming soon, and games are pretty expensive, especially when you start taking in all this microtransaction bullshit, because it's like you keep paying for the same game over and over. But do not fear, because I have a way for you to not only pre-order Fallout 76 for $45, but get other games as well on the cheap, and that is scdkey.com. In fact, you can get a lot of games and computer software at this website, and every purchase you make through the code that I'm about to give you actually helps the channel. So look for a link down in the description below, click on that link, and any purchase you make helps the channel. That is https://www.scdkey.com/sk/Skullzi. Go there, pre-order Fallout 76 for $45, and pick up a bunch of other stuff on the cheap. Now anyway, let's get into this information. In a recent interview between the Financial Times and the Sony CEO, they were asked about a bunch of stuff. Now, I can't actually show you anything from this interview because the interview is from the Financial Times, which is based on a subscription service, and if I did that, I would be violating their copyright, but I will paraphrase everything here. When asked about the supposed rumors that Microsoft is working on Project xCloud, streaming technology for the next generation of gaming where you can stream games to your phone, computer, tablets, and your console, Sony's kind of doing something like this already, but Microsoft wants to get a big head start on the next generation of consoles. But anyway, when asked about next generation of gaming and a PS5, Sony said something kind of ridiculous. All they said is, at this point, what I can say is it's necessary to have a next generation hardware. Gee, thanks Sony. Thanks for telling us that here soon you should probably make the PS5, because that's something that we obviously didn't already know because we asked you about it. Now, like I said, it's weird that Sony chose to respond to this question in this curious way, instead of just saying no comment, or that, well, only time will tell, or something like that. That kind of caught my eye and had me do some extra digging, but obviously this in itself isn't anything other than Sony is just being weird and kind of like walking around questions about the PS5 while still not completely walking around it. Like, they made sure they drug their foot just a little bit in the dog shit so you can just smell a taste of it, but not enough so you got the whole piece on your shoe. Now, weird gross metaphors aside, let's move on to a different interview between Sony and Digital Trends not too long ago. In fact, this was in May of 2018, and that interview did involve next gen, and what Sony said was that we'll use the next 3 years to prepare the next step, to crouch down so that we can jump higher into their future like a ninja tiger. Man, those would be scary. He said that the PS4 was entering the final phase of its life cycle. So this is still in 2018. Sony is acknowledging that the PS4 has only like 1 or 2 more health points left, and they're saying that now is a good time to make the PS5. Gee, you don't think? You really say so? Thank you. Thanks for telling us that. Now, this even goes back to June of 2017 when Sean Layden, a PlayStation executive, confirmed that Sony is going to release a PS5 during an interview. And the interesting thing here is he did actually nod to the name PS5, meaning that it probably will be called PS5, because after all, a lot of people want to speculate on what these consoles are going to be called. I don't think that Sony is going to change the name of the PlayStation to something else. It's been PlayStation since it was created. It's going to be the PS5, probably. If it's anything else, I'd be surprised. I hope they don't call it PlayStation Next, although that might be what's happening. In fact, I wonder if the Xbox whatever is going to be the Xbox Next. No! Stop it! He did, however, go on to say that it probably will be some time before the PS5 is released. And then there was a supposed leak from a respected Japanese analytical firm known as Ace Securities that said the PS5 could be released in 2019, but then they went on to say that if procurement is difficult, there's a possibility that it will deviate from the end of the assumed 2019 year. So you can see here, they actually said that the 2019 date was assumed, which isn't really a leak then, and the fact that they said if something goes wrong that the assumed year is going to change, well, the year isn't concrete, it's assumed, so it probably will change. So Ace Securities really didn't say anything here. I think they just wanted to get those clicky McClick clicks, that clickbait McShitty shit. So don't take too much credence into what they say, but I do say that we probably will get the next generation of gaming in 2019. Because not only has Sony suddenly recently been talking about the next generation of gaming. For a while now, game developers have been talking about it all over. Square Enix says they have a game that's coming out at some point in the next couple years, and this is a game they started in 2017. Bethesda Game Studios is working on Starfield, which is supposed to come out in the next few years, and Todd Howard himself said it should be on the next generation of consoles, at least that's his goal. In fact, he doesn't know if it'll be on this generation. He seems to be more confident that Starfield will be on next gen rather than this gen, and the fact that that's on the same cycle, if you will, as the Square Enix game, and as a few other games from a lot of other studios, including Crystal Dynamics, who are currently developing the upcoming Avengers game, and in fact, they put up new job listings that say they need specifically people with experience with current and next-gen platforms. A lot of stuff is leading to next-gen. And then remember back in 2017, the last wave of dev kits for the PS5 and the Xbox whatever were handed out to game developers all over, meaning they have in their hands exactly in terms of specification what the PS5 and the Xbox whatever will be. So again, all of this combined makes the pyramid of evidence that next generation of gaming is coming out very, very soon even larger. Now I do know in this interview here that Sony did say it'll be a few years, which would put this at about 2020 to 2021, but I don't think that's true. I think they, like Bethesda, are overestimating the release date. That way people can get hyped when it's released earlier, and that way they can protect themselves in case something goes wrong. As always, I think the next generation of gaming is coming in 2019, or at the latest, if procurement is difficult, then maybe 2020. But as always, I want to know what you have to say about all of this. What do you think about this little bits and pieces of recent evidence about next gen? What do you think about the fact that I keep giving you consistent little morsels of next generation information, as opposed to how there's literally nothing about it as much as 3 years ago? Let me know down in the comments below, and if your comment wins the internet, it may get featured in a future video. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay in the know when it comes to next gen gaming news, Bethesda Game Studios news, and just gaming news in general. And follow me on Twitter for the latest channel updates, random shit about me, and an occasional meme or two. Check out my Twitch channel and follow me on there, where I've recently reached Twitch affiliate. I'm waiting to upgrade my webcam, and then we're gonna jump back into streaming, everyone. I am super excited. And check out the community Discord channel. It's pretty active. There's usually always a conversation going on there as well. It's a pretty awesome chat room with a lot of cool things. Check for a link for that in the description below as well. And if you want to have your hand in providing future content and defending the channel from bullshit video takedowns, then consider subscribing to the community on Patreon, where you can earn unique and awesome awards and get behind the scenes daily updates about my future content. And remember, check out SCD Key using the link in the description below to get awesome deals on new games and software. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time, unless procurement is difficult.
Bye, have a great time.